You were 7, alone by 3:15, a key on a string warm against your chest. No one called it neglect. It was just Tuesday. If you grew up working class in America in the 1970s, the signs were not dramatic. They were ordinary. Toughskin's jeans, Sears wish book circles, a kitchen humming with a crock pot. But what all those ordinary things were quietly building inside you, that is where this story begins. The metal key thumps against your chest as you run the last block home, the cord already damp with sweat and worry. You fish it out from under your shirt, cold first, then warm in your palm, and fit it into the lock. That click, the sound of the world letting you in, with nobody waiting on the other side. The living room is silent except for the hum of the TV you turn on right away, cartoons filling the air with voices that aren't yours. You know the rules by heart. Don't answer the door, don't touch the stove, call mom at work only if it's a real emergency. Sometimes there is a note stuck to the fridge, neat block letters reminding you, snack in the bread box, homework before TV, don't go outside. You pour cereal, the flakes hitting the bowl too loud, and eat it straight. No milk because you're not supposed to waste it. 3 hours to yourself, sometimes 5, before headlights sweep the wall and you hear the rattle of keys that mean grown-ups are home. But for now, it's just you, the key on its string, and the quiet pride of being the one who holds the door. The wish book lands with a thump on the kitchen table, pages still cold from the mailbox. You run your fingers over the slick cover, the ink smell mixing with yesterday's coffee and the faint tang of linoleum. Every December, that catalog becomes your secret roadmap. You grab a pencil, never a pen because wishes change, and start circling the doll with the blinking eyes, the slot car set, the football with the fake autograph. Some pages get folded, others dog-eared, your initials scrawled next to the big dreams. But circling is not a promise. The real work begins when the catalog disappears into your mother's purse, a few pages marked and a carbon copy layaway slip tucked inside. 10% down, the rest paid out in careful installments, always on Friday, after the envelope with the week's pay lands on the counter. Each payment is a small ceremony, a walk to Sears, the clerk stamping the slip, your mother counting bills twice before handing them over. The thing you want lives in the back room for weeks, maybe months, until the last payment clears. Wanting turns into waiting, and waiting becomes a kind of family sport. You learn to measure time in paydays, not calendar days. The catalog's promise is not instant. It is a slow, steady march from hope to having. Every circle a quiet contract between you, your mother, and the rhythm of what is possible. Denim that could outlast a childhood, that's what your mother wanted when she circled Toughskins in the catalog. The fabric was stiff at first, almost scratchy, but it promised 5 years of wear, and Sears put that in writing. You would kneel on blacktop for marbles, skid on gravel, and the knees would hold, even as the color faded and the cuffs frayed. Hand-me-downs meant your jeans had a history before you ever wore them. Maybe your older brother's initials were still inked on the inside tag, half washed away by then. Shoes told their own story. The 4 stripes on your sneakers, never 3, were a code everyone could read. Adidas meant somebody's dad had overtime. But 4 stripes? That was the winter model, straight from the Sears box, bought on layaway, and you wore them until the soles peeled or your toes pressed hard against the end. Some kids teased, calling them faux Ditas, but you knew they would survive kickball, rain puddles, and a summer of bike rides. Secretly, you liked how the rubber smelled when new, and how your mom always checked the toes for holes before she would let you out the door. On the playground, every scuff and scrape was proof these things were built to last, even if your pride sometimes had to be too. The kitchen floor tugs at your socks. Linoleum faded to a patchwork of yellow and brown, always cool even in summer. The counters, edged in metal, are topped with formica scrubbed nearly matte. A harvest gold fridge hums in the corner, handle loose, a hamburger helper box perched on top beside powdered milk and a peanut butter jar with a spoon stuck inside. The crock pot has been on since 7 in the morning, its glass lid fogged, stew or chili simmering, depending on what was cheapest that week. Onion and browned beef drift through the air, layered with the faint bite of cleanser. Every surface works. Counters cool bread, the stovetop boils potatoes, the table sorts bills and folds laundry. Your mother moves through it all, sleeves rolled, a dish towel over her shoulder, measuring out dinner by the handful, stretching each meal. Competence here means making something out of almost nothing, knowing when the meat is done by scent and sound, and never letting anything go to waste. The grass in the vacant lot scratches your ankles as you claim a patch with a handful of friends, a plastic bat in one hand and a bruised tennis ball in the other. You draw bases in the dirt with your heel, or you set up a game of lawn darts, the heavy metal tips thudding into the earth just shy of someone's foot. Rules are loose. The boundaries change with every argument, and the only umpire is whoever yells loudest. You have hours to burn and no one hovering, just the background hum of a neighbor's mower and the distant bark of a dog. But freedom has a clock. When the streetlights flicker on, you know it is time to start wrapping things up. That glow is your curfew, as strict as any wristwatch, and every kid on the block can see it. You glance up at the porches, Mrs. Miller with her crossword, Mr. Jenkins sipping iced tea, grown-ups who know your name and your mother's number, eyes that miss nothing but rarely interfere. You feel watched and safe at the same time, free to run wild, but always inside an invisible fence. The game ends not with a whistle, but with a chorus of "See you tomorrow," the lot emptying as the neighborhood settles in for the night. Your mother stands at the counter, sleeves pushed up, a block of government cheese in one hand and a box of powdered milk in the other. The kitchen smells like onions and something baking, maybe shake and bake if it is a good week, or a casserole built from whatever is left in the fridge. You hear the quiet scrape of her pencil across the back of an envelope as she adds up the week's grocery list. Every cent counted before the pay envelope even lands on Friday night. She knows exactly how far a pound of ground beef can stretch, how to fold cubes of that orange cheese into macaroni, sandwiches, even scrambled eggs, until you forget it started in a cardboard box stamped USDA. Powdered milk gets mixed half and half with the real thing, just enough to make it last through breakfast. Jell-O shows up in every color, sometimes with canned fruit if there is a sale, sometimes just set in a chipped glass bowl, bright and wobbly. She can turn stale bread into stuffing, leftover chicken into soup, and hamburger helper into a meal that fills everyone at the table. There is no recipe card, just memory, practice, and a quiet kind of math that keeps the lights on and the table set. You never see her pause, never hear her complain. It is a kind of genius, this stretch meal alchemy, and you know even then that it runs deeper than any cookbook could ever teach. Old coffee and floor wax linger in the air as you enter the parish hall on Sunday or the Union Hall on Tuesday. The potluck calendar, taped to the church door, lists each family beside a casserole or Jell-O salad. Pyrex lids clatter and a hush settles before the hymn. On Tuesdays, folding chairs scrape and voices drop as everyone waits for the steward to call the roll. Safety updates, grievances, and a vote on the next picnic fill the agenda. But these meetings are more than routine. Here, a lost job or a sick child means a casserole at your door. The Union Hall echoes with debate, laughter, and the occasional argument, always ending with coffee and chipped mugs and a promise to return. These rooms held the community together. Your hands remember the feel of a screwdriver handle, the grit of steel wool, the snap of a worn extension cord. You learned to fix what broke, patch what tore, and stretch what ran thin because the world outside your door was changing fast. Factories closing, prices rising, and paychecks that didn't go as far as they used to. Stagflation, deindustrialization, and shrinking union jobs shaped the air you breathed. But inside your house, you built a toolkit of skills that didn't come from a Sears catalog. You could rewire a lamp, mend a seam, or keep an old car running with little more than borrowed tools and stubbornness. You got good at making do, at finding workarounds, at squeezing a little more life out of everything. That repair ethic, quiet, stubborn, and proud, still lives in your hands. If you know how to fix, to patch, to keep going when things get tight, you carry a piece of that era. So tell your story. Show someone how to mend a tear or silence a rattle. That's the legacy, handed down not in things, but in what you know how to do. You can still smell the linoleum when the sun hits just right. That grit under your nails and on your tongue shaped how you move through the world now. Community wasn't a word. It was the sound of neighbors' voices through open windows. Some things, like pride, never get priced out.